Hey you guys, as I'm sure most of you, if not all of you, have heard the announcement yesterday that we're not able to go to camp this summer, and all of the mission trips have been canceled. And I just want you to know, even before we get this virtual ZOE started, that we know that this isn't just another disappointment. It feels like a dog pile of disappointments. First, house life was canceled, and your school's canceled indefinitely, and some of you, especially for seniors, like your last spring season, your opportunity to go to prom, graduation, all these things are being canceled. It was like, man, once we get to summer and we're able to go to camp and mission trip, that will be such an encouragement to us. And now that's taken away too. And listen, I want you to know we're heartbroken as well. Like, we were so excited. Kyle and I were fired up about the students that were going to get to go with us to Moldova. And I know that the guys that were leading the NYC trip and the Houston trip were fired up about what God was going to do there. We were all excited about taking just a 2-hour bus ride to camp instead of a 25-hour one and see all that God did there at camp. We were fired up about those things. And we know you were too. And we should have been. And so right now, when those things are taken away, it's okay to feel bummed. And we want you to know as your pastors that we are bummed as well. And we're hurting with you. And we know that this just hurts. But I want to encourage you with something that's good. Is that we serve a risen King. We just celebrated it just on Sunday. And what was true on Sunday before camp and mission trips had been canceled is true today after they've been canceled. He is alive and he's good, and we can trust him. I'll never forget when my house had flooded that God taught me something incredible. He allowed me to look back at all of the uncertainties that I had walked through in my life, because I had all this uncertainty ahead of me. But I was able to look back and see over my time of follower of Jesus how Jesus had been certainly good in the midst of every uncertainty. And as I faced that uncertainty with my flood of my house, I was able to look back and see how God had been faithful and done more than I could ever imagine, that I was able to face that situation with faith, knowing because Jesus had been faithful in the past, he was going to be faithful again, and I could trust him. This is the greatest thing I've learned in my entire life of following Jesus. Life really is about going from one uncertainty to the next uncertainty. It's full of it. Things never get certain. They always circumstances pop up and things come. You go from one uncertainty to the next. But what is absolutely certain is that Jesus is king, he is sovereign, and he is completely good, and we can trust him. And so it's even uncertain what this summer is going to look like. I have no idea what it's going to be, but what is certain is that God is good, and I believe that this is going to be a summer that's so catalytic in your life that you guys are going to look back as you go on to college, as you go on to be young professionals, as you go on to have families and get married and all these different things. You're going to be faced with more and more and more uncertainty. But you're going to be able to look back to the summer of 2020 when the pandemic of the COVID-19 canceled everything and see how God was faithful that summer, and so you can trust him with the uncertainty that you're facing in the future. And so what you can be sure of is we're going to be as absolutely creative as we can. As soon as it's safe for us to gather, we're going to gather. As we're still separated, we're going to do everything we can virtually to connect with you and get you connected with things that will encourage you and that will enhance your time with the Lord. So be encouraged, because God is good. And I believe that this summer is going to be a summer that God does immeasurably more than all we could ever ask or imagine, according to the power that's at work within us. Because if he can take the death of the Son of God, crucified, tortured on a cross, and then raise him to life and make a way for us to be filled with the Spirit and be raised to life ourselves and have salvation, even though we were wretched, broken, messed up sinners, then God can use the pandemic of 2020 to do more than we can ever imagine. And we're going to trust him that he's good and that he's working in this. So I love you guys, and I hope that tonight you are encouraged, because we have got greatness ahead of us, because our God is always up to something good. You guys are awesome. I love you, and something good is coming right here, right now with this virtual ZOE. So let's get into that countdown, and let's get ready to give honor and glory to our God who's good. Let's do it! Virtual ZOE, baby!
Oh, hey guys. I'm so glad you guys are tuning in tonight. We've got so much good stuff in store for you guys. Give me 1 second so I can give this a rip.
Oh, hey guys. Didn't see you there. Welcome to Virtual ZOE. So glad that you're tuning in. Give me just a second. Gotta throw this cheese.
Hey, better, hey, sweet, yep. Oh yeah, that's warning track power. Oh, hey guys. What's up? Didn't see you there. Hey, welcome to ZOE tonight. It's gonna be LIT lit. Enjoy the content. See you soon.
What's up, you guys? Just me and my boys here swinging, ready to tell you about something exciting that's coming your way right now. Some of you know Kyle Jennings, great guy, big fan, and he is actually a recording artist. Did you know that? That's right. In fact, he's got a record out right now underneath the title ZOEM, which is short for ZOE Music. You can find it on Spotify, you can find it on Apple Music, and it is awesome. It's called Diversity Part 1. Well, right now, right here, in this very moment, you're gonna get to see a music video with him featuring ZOE Ande. So I want you to know, ZOE Ande? Who is that? Surigao. So listen, there is a link. There is a link. Keep it rolling. There's a link at the bottom of this description on this YouTube video for you to go on Apple Music, Spotify to listen to his album. It's awesome. The twins love it. I love it. You should check it out. So right now, check out this music video. Saved to be set.
Say bye.
Bye.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
Ready to go. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Listen, I'ma teach y'all all a lesson. This for those questioning, resting your confessions. Don't let the enemy get you second guessing. You've been bought with the price, the life of heaven's blessings. Were we lost in sin? Searching after God, but then Jesus stepped in, made us part of his squad. We've been called to follow him, believe in him, but repent. Gotta die to self, deny ourselves, cause we've been saved to be sent. Okay, we see a deception. My mind is thinking we have problems with us making collections. It's like hoarders on hordes, can't even break our borders. With the gospel thinking someone else, I'll put us on the shoulders. And the culture lies, trying to keep me paralyzed, trying to keep my eyes on the things that Jesus died for. But then I realize, already been sanctified. Spirit makes me watch the things that I'm alive for. My feelings, it's a temporary thing. Success, not as good as it seems. Power, another one of the enemy schemes. See, he skirts what's really good and we end up being deceived. Okay, now we're lost in sin, searching after God, but then Jesus stepped in, made us part of his squad. We've been called to follow him, believe in him and repent. Gotta die to self, deny ourselves, cause we've been saved to be sent. They don't run it. Got the keys to the kingdom. We're not
material. Jesus provided miracles, blowing the minds of cynicals. Clinically calculated, the Jesus whom we berated. Instead of returning hatred, he chose humiliation. When the goodness and the kindness of a God had appeared, he saved us by his mercy and renewal of the Spirit. Yeah, he justifies, sanctifies, glorifies the cause. Since he gave his life for us, we should give back to him our all. Yeah. I've been saved, now I feel hot. Ain't no more chains, yeah, the devil thought that the gates of hell prevail. But with who I got, spirit in my spirit, now we fail not. I said I'm running with the real one. We got the keys to the kingdom. We not slaves, yeah, we free, son. And we don't stop till we're done. Yeah.
I've been saved, now I feel hot. Ain't no more chains, and the devil thought that the gates of hell prevail. But with who I got, spirit in my spirit, now we fail not. I said I'm running with the real one.
And we don't stop till we're done.
Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed that music video, Saved to Be Sent. Just as we transition to worship, I want to put something before you guys. There's a song that we're about to sing that some of you are familiar with, some of you are not familiar with. But it's a song called Glorious Day. And it talks about when Jesus calls our name and we go running out of the grave. And I remember for me personally, 7 years ago, when I heard the voice of the Lord, I heard him calling my name, and I decided to give my life to Jesus, and I've never been the same. So I just want to give us the freedom to worship God with joy, with passion, with energy. And so right where you are, let's worship God together.
I was buried beneath my shame, and who could carry that kind of weight? It was my tomb till I met you. I was breathing but not alive, and all my failures I've tried to hide. It was my tomb till I met you. You called my name and I ran out of that grave, out of the darkness into your glorious day. You called my name and I ran out of that grave, out of the darkness into your glorious day. Now your mercy has saved my soul, and now your freedom is all that I know. The old made new, Jesus, when I met you. You called my name and I ran out of that grave, out of the darkness into your glorious day. You called my name and I ran out
sin was heavy, but chains break at the weight of your glory. I needed shelter, I was an orphan. Now you call me a citizen of heaven. When I was broken, you were my healing. Now your love is the air that I'm breathing. I have a future, my eyes are open, 'cause when you called my name, oh, I ran out of that grave, out of the darkness, into your glorious day. You called my name, and I ran out of that grave, out of the darkness, into your glorious day. Hey.
Sometimes life doesn't go the way we expect. I don't deserve this. Because it happened, I will never change. Don't say, but God. Nothing can change me. Everything is hopeless. You can't say, Jesus is the answer. There is brokenness everywhere. Where is God? Look around at the world. He isn't good. How can you say that He works all things together for good? Don't you know that's impossible? He is absent. How can you say that He loves me? I can't believe it. Or maybe we're looking at it all wrong. I can't believe it. He loves me. How can you say that He is absent? Impossible. Don't you know that He works all things together for good? How can you say that He isn't good? Look around the world. Where is God? Everywhere. There is brokenness. Jesus is the answer. You can't say everything is hopeless. Nothing can change me but God. Don't say I will never change, because it happened. I don't deserve this. Sometimes life doesn't go the way we expect.
Hey, you guys. Tonight we're starting a brand new series called Unexpected. And the reason why we're starting this new series is because God is the king of using the unexpected things in our life for His ultimate glory. Think about it. Even Jesus wasn't what people were expecting. Literally, everything that Jesus did and everything that Jesus taught was completely unexpected. So unexpected, in fact, those that were supposed to be expecting Him and waiting for Him to come as their coming Messiah completely missed Him. But I want you to know that for us, it is good news that Jesus works in unexpected things in life. Because if there was ever a time that we needed some encouragement in that arena of our life, it's right now. I mean, the way that we've all been living for the past month has been completely unexpected. I mean, when March started, we were looking forward to spring break, expecting to have a week off and then just get right back at it and finish the year and look forward to the summer. No one expected to leave for spring break and then never go back to school for the rest of the year. No one expected for their senior season, their last spring season, to be canceled. You didn't expect to miss out on prom or some great spring activity you were looking at. None of us expected for something that we all look forward to, like house life and mission trips and camp, for all of those things to be taken away and all of those things to be canceled. No one expected those things to happen. And if we're honest, a lot of us maybe feel like God right now isn't meeting the expectations that we have for him because we feel like he's letting us down. And when the unexpected happens in our life, we tend to actually take that out on God. We tend to blame God, questioning whether or not he really cares for us or why he would ever let these unexpected things happen to us. But just like in the bumper that you just saw, I hope to flip your perspective a little bit and actually allow you to see tonight that God uses the unexpected things in our lives to allow us to experience more of his glory. And so tonight, what we're going to do is we're going to start out in John chapter 11, and we're going to see the story of two people who are very close to Jesus. And I want us to see how they responded when Jesus didn't meet their expectations. And I think we're all going to be surprised at how much we can relate to them in the way that we relate to Jesus when he doesn't meet our expectations. So if you have your Bibles, turn to John chapter 11, and we're going to start in verse 1. Here's what it says. Now a certain man was ill, Lazarus of Bethany, the village of Mary and her sister Martha. It was Mary who anointed the Lord with ointment and wiped his feet with her hair, whose brother Lazarus was ill. So the sisters sent to Jesus, saying, Lord, he whom you love is ill. But when Jesus heard it, he said, this illness does not lead to death. It is for the glory of God, so that the Son of God may be glorified through it. Now Jesus loved Martha and her sister and Lazarus. So reading these verses, we need to read in between the lines and see what the expectations of Mary and Martha and Lazarus were of Jesus. They're very close to him. They know all about him. They're followers of him. They have seen with their very own eyes and heard time and time again how everywhere Jesus goes, he is healing the sick. And now Mary and Martha send word to Jesus saying, Jesus, someone very close to you, someone that you love, not a stranger to you, but they actually call him the one whom you love, Lazarus, is sick. And so we can clearly see that they expect Jesus to come and meet their need right in that instant. They expect Jesus to come right away and to heal Lazarus because this is what Jesus does. They have this expectation for him that this is what he does. Jesus heals the sick. But then Jesus does something that's totally unexpected. And there's two things that I want you to see tonight that Jesus does that are unexpected. And the first thing that Jesus does that's completely unexpected is when those whom he loved were in need, he waited. I mean, read verse 5 and 6 one more time with me. It says, now Jesus loved Martha and her sister and Lazarus. So when he heard that Lazarus was ill, he stayed 2 days longer in the place where he was. I mean, this was completely unexpected. And even as a reader of the story, it's kind of surprising. Jesus, the Son of God, who's able to heal anyone just by saying the words, has a dear friend who is now sick to the point where it could be fatal. He's deathly sick. But instead of going or even speaking the words to heal him, Jesus just waits. He stays in the place where he is and waits for 2 more days. And the text doesn't say too much more about it. It doesn't say anything else that he did. It doesn't say that he did this during those 2 days. It just says that he stayed in the place where he was for 2 more days and he waited. He waits 2 more days, and the reason why he waits is that he knows that in his tearing, Lazarus is going to die. And so after some conversation with the disciples in the following verses that they're not able to understand what Jesus is saying, he finally explains why they actually now have to go to Judea after waiting 2 more days. Look at what it says. Pick up the story with me in verse 14. It says this, then Jesus told them plainly, Lazarus has died, and for your sake I am glad that I was not there, so that you may believe. But let us go to him. So Lazarus is dead. Jesus could have gone and healed him, but instead he waited. this wasn't just unexpected to Mary and Martha, but this is unexpected to the disciples. I mean, they're baffled. They don't know what's going on. And it's unexpected to everyone. But you want to talk about complete unmet expectations? It doesn't get more unmet than Mary and Martha. Look at what it looks like for them. Picking up at verse 17. It says this, "Now when Jesus came, he found that Lazarus had already been in the tomb 4 days. Bethany was near Jerusalem, about 2 miles off, and many of the Jews had come to Martha and Mary to console them concerning their brother. So when Martha heard that Jesus was coming, she went and met him, but Mary remained seated in the house. Martha said to Jesus, 'Lord, if you had been here, my brother would not have died. But even now I know that whatever you ask from God, God will give you.' Jesus said to her, 'Your brother will rise again.' Martha said to him, 'I know that he will rise again in the resurrection on the last day.' And Jesus said to her, 'I am the resurrection and the life. Whoever believes in me, though he die, yet shall he live. And everyone who lives and believes in me shall never die. Do you believe this?' She said to him, 'Yes, Lord. I believe that you are the Christ, the Son of God, who is coming into the world.' When she had said this, she went and called her sister Mary, saying in private, 'The teacher is here and is calling for you.' And when she heard it, she rose quickly and went to him. Now Jesus had not yet come into the village, but was still in the place where Martha had met him. When the Jews who were with her in the house consoling her saw Mary rise quickly and go out, they followed her, supposing that she was going to the tomb to weep there. Now when Mary came to where Jesus was and saw him, she fell at his feet, saying to him, 'Lord, if you had been here, my brother would not have died.' When Jesus saw her weeping, and the Jews who had come with her also weeping, he was deeply moved in his spirit and greatly troubled. And he said, 'Where have you laid him?' They said to him, 'Lord, come and see.' Jesus wept. So the Jews said, 'See how he loved him.' But some of them said, 'Could not he who opened the eyes of the blind man also have kept this man from dying?' So obviously we can see this is not what Martha or Mary or even the Jews who are watching this unfold, it's not what they expected. Mary and Martha expected Jesus to be there and to save them from having to experience the trouble and this loss of their brother. They both have the same response in verse 21 and 32. When they say this, the first thing they say when they see Jesus is, 'Lord, if you had been here, my brother would not have died.' Jesus didn't meet their expectation. So even what they believed about him is a little shaken. You know, they know what they should say for sure. And you can see that even in their responses because they've been close to Jesus. But in their grief, you can see how it's almost as if they are blaming Jesus for the death of their brother. Even though they love Jesus and clearly believe that he is the Lord, it's even said, 'You are the Christ, the one who's coming in the world.' They know that he's able to heal, but Mary and Martha and those who were there just still couldn't understand why Jesus didn't keep Lazarus from dying. They don't understand, and what they believe is shaken. I wonder if you have ever been in their shoes. I mean, maybe there's been something you pray and you pray and you pray, but God doesn't meet your expectations. He doesn't answer your prayer the way that you've been hoping. And in your trouble, you cry out, 'Where are you, God? How could you let this happen? Why? My senior year, all these things I've been looking forward to and building up towards, you're taking them away. Where are you in the midst of this crisis? Why are you letting these people die? Why are you letting this pandemic spread? Why is all this happening? Why would you keep me from going on a mission trip? Why would you take camp away?' All of these things. Why would you let this happen? That's the place that Mary and Martha are. But then Jesus does the unexpected again. And look at what he does. He tells them to take away the stone, and he calls Lazarus by name. Look what verse 38 says. Then Jesus, deeply moved again, came to the tomb. It was a cave, and a stone lay against it. And Jesus said, 'Take away the stone.' Martha, the sister of the dead man, said to him, 'Lord, By this time there will be an odor, for he has been dead 4 days. Then Jesus said to her, did I not tell you that if you believed, you would see the glory of God? So they took away the stone, and Jesus lifted up his eyes and said, Father, I thank you that you have heard me. I knew that you always hear me. But I said this on account of the people standing around, that they may believe that you sent me. When he had said these things, he cried out with a loud voice, Lazarus, come out. The man who had died came out, his hands and feet bound with linen strips and his face wrapped with a cloth. Jesus said to them, unbind him and let him go. Many of the Jews, therefore, who had come with Mary and had seen what he did, believed in him. I mean, this is totally nuts. Jesus waits for Lazarus to die so that the glory of God can be even greater in the lives of those that he loves. He lets this unexpected thing happen so that the glory of God can be seen as even greater than their greatest trouble. That's who Jesus is. That's what Jesus does. I mean, can you imagine what this experience, what it did for their faith, how it changed their life? I mean, if Jesus had just done what they expected, they would have missed out on so much incredible blessing. Sure, they would have seen a healing happen, but they got to see a great number of their friends be changed forever by putting their faith in Jesus, because they got to learn a very important lesson. And that's Jesus brings dead things to life. This is the beautiful, unexpected message of the gospel. Because if you think about it, the most unexpected message in the world is the message of the gospel. I mean, who would ever expect God, the God of the universe, to empty himself to become a man and then pay the full penalty for our sin, willingly taking our place as his creation that had previously rejected him? You're talking unexpected. Jesus absorbed the full wrath of God so that you and I wouldn't have to. And then he rose again on the third day, proving that he was in fact who he said he was, the resurrection and the life. And he did this to make a way for our dead spirits, to be brought to life in him. This is the message of the gospel, and every single one of us need to respond to it tonight, so that the things that are dead in us can be brought to new life in him, so that they can be raised to life in Christ. Some of you tonight, you're followers of Jesus, and you walk closely with him, you know him, and you follow him, but lately you're feeling like he hasn't been meeting your expectations. And so the way that you believe in him, your trust in him, it's waning, just like it was for Mary and Martha. And you're struggling. You're bummed out about all this stuff that's being canceled because of the coronavirus. And I want to challenge you tonight, release that to Jesus and trust that God is using the unexpected things in your life, working for you to wait on him so that you will experience more of his glory in your life than you ever have before. So what I want you to do is, we sing this next song, I want you to set your heart on the unexpected message of the gospel. I want you to set your heart and your affection on Jesus, knowing that he takes the unexpected things in life and uses them for his good, for you to experience more glory in him than you ever could before. And what I want you to do is, if God moves in your heart, I want you to actually make this public. Because when we make what God does in our hearts public, God does incredible things in us. So what I want you to do is, I want you to call one of the pastors. I want you to call your leader or a friend that knows Jesus, and I want you to tell them what God is doing in your heart and what you're going to do about it, and I want them to have the opportunity to pray over you. Others of you tonight, you're listening, and you know that you've never put your faith in Jesus. And you feel it. You know it. You are still dead in your sin. But can you hear Jesus calling your name tonight? I believe that many of you right now, as you're hearing the gospel, you hear Jesus calling your name, calling you out, because he is calling you out to bring what your dead spirit and raise it to new life in Jesus. Jesus brings dead things to life, and that is exactly what he wants you to do. That's exactly what he wants to do in you tonight. when you put your faith and trust in the gospel. And so if you want to put your faith in Jesus right now, I just want you to send a DM to Fielder Students on Facebook, on Instagram, or TikTok. Or if you have a number of a pastor or leader, I want you to call us, text us right now, and we will connect with you and we will walk you through what it means to put your faith in Jesus. We want to hear what God is doing in your heart. But for each of us, whatever is going on in each of our hearts, I encourage you to make what God is doing in your heart public right now with someone. And as Kyle sings this next song about how Jesus raises us to life, we all have a chance to respond. So let's do that right now. Let's respond.
Raised to life. Well, I can't be held by chains no more. I'm alive. I'm free to praise forevermore. Through the day and night, and my praise will rise. I'm alive, and you know what else will do. Raised to life. And I'll rejoice in the life you've made for me, even if it's not as though I wished. And I will lay my life down at your feet, and I'll rejoice in your great love for me. I'm raised to life. Well, I can't be held by chains no more. I'm alive. I'm free to praise forevermore. Through the day and night, my praise will rise. I'm alive, and you know what else will do. Raised to life.
Well, hey guys, I hope that you were encouraged tonight, knowing that God uses even the unexpected things in life to bring about his greatest glory. Here's a perfect example. These two boys. Go ahead, show them. We didn't expect them. They were unexpected. But man, have they brought more glory and joy into our life. So you guys are awesome. Be encouraged. Just keep leaning into the Lord. I'm excited for you guys to connect with your leaders right now and follow us on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, because a lot of great more stuff is coming your way. Isn't that right, Davis? Isn't that right, Trent? That's right. Fielder Students, you're sent. Peace on ya.